is yours. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday morning. I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery. My name is Felice. This is our Sunday morning Why Wait for Recovery community meeting, and we're glad that you're all here. We're actually going to talk about our reasons this morning that we're using. I watched a very interesting movie last night, and it was called To the Bone, and it was about anorexia. And it talked about anorexia as an addiction. And you guys know, whether it's anorexia or binging or purging or alcohol or heroin or overeating, you know, anything that we're doing emotionally to change anything that we're doing, any behavior that's changing the way that we feel emotionally, and we're doing it because we don't want to feel something, and at the end we feel guilty and ashamed and fearful and insecure. That's an addiction. So at the end, it doesn't really matter what that substance was. Here, we're a group of addicts that deal with binging and overeating and emotional overeating. And so we're going to spend some time this morning. I want to hear from you guys. We're going to spend some time this morning talking about why it is that we're using. You know, when we talk about slipping, we talk about going backward, or we talk about having a day, thank you for sharing that with me this morning. When we talk about having a day where we know what it is that we're quote unquote supposed to be doing, meaning we know what it is that in the end is going to make us feel well, but we're not doing that. We're going back to our old behaviors and our old habits. Why is it? What is it that's keeping us there? And so, do you mind sharing a little bit? Because I really appreciate you sharing this morning. So nobody knows who you are, and so I'll share what you shared without your name. So we talked about, so you guys, it's scary to share in here, even though nobody knows who well, you guys know who I am. Nobody knows who you guys are. But so I was speaking with a friend in recovery this morning, and we were talking about being single and going out and dating. And when I was speaking with this friend, she said, she started to tell me the story, you know, the backstory about what goes on with her, and her friend said this, and her other friend said that, and her people said this. And I was like, okay, let's get to the point of what it is. And she talked about dating, and then she talked about being afraid. So remember, guys, with any kind of addiction, we're always going to get back to that. What is the feeling that we're doing our best not to feel? And how are we drowning out whatever it is that's bothering us? And so we talked about being scared. So we know that all of our negative, you know, putting yourself out there, meeting new people, even you guys, when we go from a community of people in recovery to a community of people who aren't in recovery to a community of people in recovery. You know, a big part of what we do in recovery is we do share how we feel, right? We talk about how we feel. We allow ourselves to feel those feelings, and then we talk about how we feel, and it's scary as shit. And the first thing that we do, our brains are like, okay, right now I'm scared, what do I do? Bam, I shoot up. Bam, I binge. Bam, I throw up, right? It's getting back to those old behaviors.
It's doing anything but.
Right, and that's what our brain knows, right? And so when we talk about, excuse me, we're also going to talk a little bit about today, I want to touch on when we talk about, oh, we slipped, or, well, I didn't eat one of my trigger foods. I only ate poop tons of one of my not trigger foods. Because we talked about that as well. And you had said, when you say to me, well, I didn't have one of my trigger foods, meaning I didn't have 63 things of bread, right? I just overate. That's, so Brandy, I'm gonna say your name, you're going like this. That's making an excuse for your addiction, you guys, and that's kind of smoothing it over and making it sound all nice. Well, you know what I didn't do? But you guys, that's like saying, well, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put the needle in my arm, so I didn't shoot up this morning. I only snorted a little bit of the heroin. Yes?
Well, I mentioned it because I didn't go out of ketosis by doing this, but I still overate. I just couldn't stop.
Right, I just couldn't stop.
Right.
So thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing that. Right. And so you couldn't stop. So really, whatever it is that you couldn't stop with, it's that you just couldn't stop. Now, of course, we know that in theory, you can stop. But while we're in the middle of active addiction and we're in the middle of doing what it is that we're doing, at that point we feel like we can't stop, right?
Right.
And so we spend some time getting clean, not eating our trigger foods, not overeating any of our other foods. And then as we're getting clean, allowing the receptors in our brains to clean out, and we're staying in contact with our community, right? Staying in the middle of the community and telling on ourselves and talking about ourselves, right? If we're doing that, then there's a lot less chance that we're going to use. Why don't we tell on ourselves? That's all going to go back to ego again, you guys. If you called me and said, Felice, you know what, right now I'm scared. I'm going through this and I kind of feel like this and this person's saying this and this person's saying this, and you know, I would give you your 15 seconds, right, to tell me your problem. But then we could get to what the solution is and talk about the fear. Because what happens is, okay, so now I'm going to go out, I'm going to overeat because I'm scared. And what's going to happen
Scared
after?
is anxiety, like what I call anxiety.
Any negative feeling that we have is fear-based,
Okay.
right? So yeah, so you're feeling anxious and you eat because you think it's going to make that anxiety go away. And then in an hour you feel like crap and you want to shoot yourself in the foot and you don't want to tell anybody.
And I do it again.
And that, right, and now you're really scared, and so you go back again to what you fall back on, and you binge or you overeat again. And that sucks, you guys, and that's called addiction, and that's what we talk about, why wait for recovery. So we talk about food, remember, as the end result. Our weight is the end result of addictive behavior, and addictive behavior is anytime we're picking up any type of substance or we're starving ourselves, because same, any type of substance or starving ourselves so that we could change our brain chemistry, because all of that changes our brain chemistry. So if anybody's willing to share, I'd like to go around the room, first of all, and just say good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. How are you this morning? Thank you so much for coming.
Good to be
How are you feeling?
Good.
Good. How are you doing as far as binging goes, as far as eating the stuff you're not supposed to eat? If you feel, remember, when I talk to you, if you don't want to share, if you're feeling embarrassed or ashamed, or which means that you're in your addiction, but if you're feeling that way, you can always say, I don't want to share right now.
While you were talking, I was thinking about something that I did last night. Something had happened, and then it was like, I don't know, maybe like 11:30 at night.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, let me go eat like a piece of like deli turkey or something.
And eating a piece of deli turkey is okay, right? Even post-surgical, like to wake up at night and have a piece of deli turkey is okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was your intention.
Like, I was awake, but I was like, I wasn't sure if it was a direct result of like what had happened previously, or if I was just.
Were you hungry?
I don't even remember.
Okay. All right.
I don't remember.
And so did you eat a piece of deli turkey or did you binge?
I just ate a piece.
Okay.
And I went back to bed.
Okay. And so we have to remember too that we don't have to second guess everything that we do. Not everything that we do. So if you wake up and you're hungry, or you're awake and you're hungry and you have a piece of turkey, and that was, do you leave yourself a snack to have in the evening as part of your planning your food for the next day?
Yeah.
And had you had that snack?
No.
Okay, and so that was your snack for the evening, right? Usually, you guys, when we ask a question about something, it's because our intentions were a little off. And so we always say, check your motives. So whenever you're having a challenge in your head, check your motives. Am I eating right now because I'm going to have my snack at night? Or am I eating right now because I feel like shit and I want to change the way that I feel? Now, getting up and having a piece of deli turkey as your snack certainly isn't a crime against your recovery, right? So do you know why you're asking that? Is there something behind that?
Well, it was just because the thing that happened was really something that frustrated me.
So you were feeling frustrated.
Right. So I wasn't sure if getting up and eating something was a direct result of that. Like the feelings, I wasn't really sure. You know, I don't know. It because before, if that had happened, I would have gotten to the fridge.
So normally when you're frustrated, you binge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if it was because I physically couldn't do it, or you know,
But physically, you could have done something else, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could have done something that wasn't in your food plan, correct?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine your question is, when I'm frustrated, like, how do I check myself and make sure that my motives aren't that I'm frustrated and I'm going to eat, or I'm frustrated I'm going to reach out to somebody in the community. Mm-hmm. I'm going to let you know, Angeli and I, we don't sleep. So you can text us anytime you want. We text each other at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, did you see this movie? So it's all good. So you could always, you know, you guys, sometimes, even if you're not going to get a response, reaching out and knowing that somebody's going to reach out to you again in the morning, sometimes that's good enough. Mm. And so thank you for sharing that. You know, you guys, we step into recovery and life still happens. You know, the dog still poops in the floor, and people die, and our boss is still an asshole, and all of those things still happen. They still happen. It's just how we're going to treat ourselves when that does happen. Good morning. Thank you so much for sharing. Good morning. Morning. Yes. Do you want to share?
I want to respond to, what's your first name again?
Allison.
Allison, what Allison said.
Hello.
You know, I have come to know that I'm an addict, but when you're a food addict, it's not as a parent.
Of course it's not.
And so all the litany of things, characteristics that you easily go through as when you're behaving addictively, you really, at least speaking for myself, I really got to think about it to sit down and realize, yeah, I am doing those things, because it doesn't jump out as you, it jump out as much as when you're doing.
So I agree. I agree that binging, emotional eating, overeating, all of that stuff, I think it's much more insidious. It's not that.
So when she was trying to answer that question about the
it's difficult.
It's hard to know.
Right. So we always want to check our motives. Am I eating to change the way that I feel, or am I eating because I'm having my snack? Now, if you would have ate a bag of potato chips and thrown it up, we would have known. We wouldn't even have had to check your motives. We just would have known that you were binging. And so post bariatric surgery, since your rules changed for the first year, see, here's the thing. The reason why you need to realize it, especially post-surgical, now is the time that you need to be working on your recovery, is because, you guys, I have lots of patients that have had bariatric surgery or lap bands, and they come back 3 years later, 4 years later, and they're 400 pounds. Yeah. And so absolutely.
Yeah,
I know some people who do it twice.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I have patients that have had it done more than once. And so what happens is the surgery don't get rid of the addiction, and it doesn't get rid of our causes, our why, right? It just doesn't allow us to eat the way that, it doesn't allow us to binge the way that we used to binge, or we wind up in the hospital if we even attempt to. And so right now it's going to be learning recovery. And so how do we learn recovery? We do the work. And Haiti and I talk about oftentimes about, you know, oh, it's really not easy. It's really not easy. It's a lot of work. I'm going to call you A. I can say your name, right? Ange, how much work did you do? A lot of work, man. She did a lot of work. She was very unhappy, doobie, and she hated me for quite a while. But she did a lot of work, and so it's finding out what's going on with us. What is eating us? What's going on there? Huh?
Can I say something?
Oh, go ahead. Hi, Haiti.
Hi, everybody. So I just wanted to also say the work doesn't stop though. So for the first year, even though things change, it's continuous work. So we're still working even beyond the first year, because it's very easy to start having those conversations with ourselves. But you know what? Food is everywhere. And so if I'm crabbling and there's not the foods that I want to eat or need to eat, that's an excuse to use. So it's continual work. It's continual work and it's continual planning, because at the end of the day, it's keeping focused on what is the motivation behind doing it as well. Because when we healthy and we're happy, we know what it looked like when we were that demoralized, that when we were going through those binging and purging and we wanted to die, and we had those conversations with ourselves, we knew what the end result was of going through that. And it's a constant reminder to keep doing the work.
Right, and my point was, and thank you for sharing that. And my point was that what happens is people have surgery and they think that that's cured them. And so I was talking about working on the recovery right after or even before, actually, to tell you the truth, would even be better. But then working on that right after so that you understand now, so that when you have a chance to eat past, listen, we don't recover. You know, we don't get to the point where we can eat 7 potato chips and stop. You know, that doesn't work for us. Not if we're eating those 7 potato chips because we're trying to change the way that we feel, right? Again, 1 is too many, 1,000's never enough. We take that first one. If it was ever just one, nobody would be sitting in this room, right? If we weren't fighting against ourselves. But in the beginning, it's super important to understand. In the beginning, when you stop using your drug of choice, you got nothing to fall back on except for you and the way that you feel and the way that you express the way that you feel, look at the way that you feel, and then learn to handle the way that you feel without using. So yeah, it's much more insidious with food. It's, you know, if I'm a heroin addict, I know when I put, thank you, I know that when I put a needle in my arm, it's against the law and I'm doing something, and you know, if I'm eating a bag of potato chips, first of all, it's insidious for so many reasons, but one of the reasons is also that immediately nobody knows except for you, right? Unless you're weighing in somewhere once a week. So yeah, I absolutely agree, and I think that it's also that that food addiction isn't respected really as an addiction. It's looked at as, oh well, she's just fat and lazy, you know? Oh, look at that skinny bitch over there. It's all she needs to do is eat and stop playing, you know? And it's not that way. Otherwise, everybody would be able to fix themselves, right? Right? You have anything to share?
I mean, I had cake on Friday and it was amazing.
And I shot up on Thursday and it was amazing. I'm just kidding, I didn't.
I was at work and I just wanted cake and there's a Publix next to us, so I was trying to convince the whole office to say no, but everyone there said yes. So I went and bought a cake, and I had a piece, and it made me feel so sick. I only got through half.
Okay, and so thank you for sharing that you're blaming your addiction and your behavior on other people.
Well, I wanted them to say no, but I know I should have
I know, yeah. And so that's like me saying, you guys, you know what? It was Johnny's birthday, and we went out to dinner, and everybody was having a drink, and I really hope that everybody wouldn't have a drink, but everybody did have a drink, and so I bought a round of drinks, and I had a drink. So when we talk about it being insidious, so now everybody at the table is like, ruh-roh, Felice had a drink. Let's put her back into a treatment center for 6 months, she'll be fine, right? But nobody says, ruh-roh, you had a piece of cake, right? Because nobody cares. So it has to be you that cares. We have to be responsible for our own addiction and for our own using, and we need to be able to stand here, put our hand up, take the foul, and say, you know what, I used last Thursday because I wanted to, right? Because it's never because of what anybody else is doing. It's because I chose to, right? And then find out why it is.
Now, isn't it the problem only if she can't stop after one piece of cake? I mean,
we're not going to get into that here, because that's more of a thing that I talk to my patients about. So right here, isn't it, we're going to get into semantics like that, and it's...
That's picking up, right?
Yes, it's picking up, thank you. And so if she could stop, if she didn't have a challenge, she don't have to be here in this room.
Okay.
But what if cake wasn't someone's trigger? Like, what if you could eat cake and that not be your picking up food?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you something.
She wouldn't mention it.
Right. First of all, she wouldn't have mentioned it because she wouldn't have had any feelings attached to it, but she did, and she felt like crap after, right? So if I eat a salad, I don't have thoughts about it. I don't have to share it in a group. I don't have to discuss picking up, and I don't have any thoughts after about, oh my God, I ate the salad, and I shouldn't eat the salad, but everybody else ordered the salad. I don't have those feelings, right?
There's not a salad naan?
No, salad and none, I don't think so. And so it's what we're feeling, you guys, and what it is that even when you say to yourself, you know, again, and checking those motives, What is it that you say to yourself or don't say to yourself? Why do I do something that I'm going to beat myself up for after? Why? Why do we do that? Right? When we don't have to. We don't have to do something that we're going to beat ourselves up for after. And so again, that's going to be learning in recovery. Always staying in your community, you guys, and learning in recovery why it is that we're doing the stuff that in the end punishes us. Remember we talked about this? Okay, I'm going to reward myself by having a piece of cake because I've been good all week, right? And then after, and here's the thing too, you guys. Again, I'm going to tell you the story of a very good friend of mine. She's a therapist in recovery. Drug of choice is cocaine. And she goes out with her girlfriends, and she's been clean for 12 years. And she goes out with her girlfriends, and alcohol was never her thing. And she has a drink. It was never her thing. It's a mind-altering substance, right? We know about the receptors in our brain. We talked about all that. And so we know that it's still touching one of the receptors in our brain, right? That can cause addiction, and she had a drink. And then 2 weeks later, she had a drink. She had one drink. And the next week, she had a drink, and she had 2 drinks, and she bought some cocaine. My thing was like, we're so old, where'd you find the coke? But anyway, and she bought coke. So once we start touching those receptors in the brain that have to do with our addiction, once we set that off, then usually that's going to be that. And I'm going to tell you, with food, the dopamine receptor is rice, bread, potato, pasta, sweets, chips. That's what it is. That's what touches a dopamine receptor. And so what'll happen in the beginning for a while, we might be able to binge. Andrew, we talked about you binging on stuff that wasn't trigger food, right? That you binged in the past.
Yeah, that's what I do.
That wasn't trigger food. What if you're gonna binge anyway? Why don't you binge on your trigger food?
Because I know at the end of the day I go to sleep, and tomorrow I'll be fine and I can start over. But if I binge on other stuff, I'll wake up hungry and crave it from the get-go.
Okay, and so yes.
But I binged on vegetables and I woke up skinnier the next day.
Fair enough. Yeah. And so so it's all your bullshit that you're telling yourself because you're still doing it.
No, I'm aware of the fact that I ate when I wasn't hungry, and that was enough. That was bad enough.
Haiti, were you asking something? No.
What I was going to say is,
she's walking.
I'm coming in after the conversation, but what I was going to say is it doesn't matter what the food is. I mean, I get that people say that it was salad, people don't go binge on lettuce. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Binging is binging. Yeah. Anything that makes you feel terrible at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it is. If we're putting it in our body because we're feeling something to cover something up, that's what matters at the end of the day.
Right.
And the point that we ourselves don't see it as a serious problem because that's where the seriousness of the problem really lies to start off with.
Yeah, and we talked about that, right? So it's checking our motives. Why are we? Thank you.
Yeah,
it's checking our motives. Why are we doing what we're doing?
Yeah, I was stuffing my feelings. Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and so thank you for saying that. So you were stuffing your feelings. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Do you have anything to add?
Besides I'm tired. Honestly, for the last couple weeks, I eat something that's crap. Mm-hmm. But I've been portioning my meals, my crap.
That's so awesome. I'm gonna start portioning my Percocet, you guys.
But the thing is like, it sounds stupid.
I'm only gonna have 4. I swear, all day.
I don't know what it is. All the food that I've been eating, I haven't been feeling bad after. Mm-hmm. I drank a milkshake and I felt like complete shit and felt like I was gonna puke, and my body felt like it was shaking. Mm-hmm. It was like in shock. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing in the last 3 weeks that was shit that I actually felt bad over. But I don't know. I think it's just because, honestly, I haven't been prepping my meals. Mm-hmm. I've had my knees down, and there's just shit in the house. And when she eats shit, my husband eats shit, and I'm just like, fuck it, I don't want to cook anything else.
Okay, so she just made excuses for you.
No, exactly what it is. Right?
I know that you know that because you've been in recovery. So.
For a long time, for a while. And I don't know what it is. I come here and then I start off eating good and then I go back to eating shit. And I don't know why I can't just stay.
Okay, and so.
And it's the same way when I was trying to get off the drugs.
Absolutely.
It took me freaking forever to actually have some time in being sober.
Okay, fair enough. And when you did get your time being sober, or not drinking alcohol, you did that doing work, correct?
Yeah, a lot of work.
Yeah, and so right now.
I like almost lived at my sponsor's house.
Okay, fair enough. And right now we're not doing very much work.
No.
Okay, and so that has to change.
Yes.
And you have to make that decision to
Exactly.
tell me that it has to change.
Exactly.
Because your clean time isn't my responsibility,
No,
it's yours.
of course.
Right, and so that needs to change.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Anything to share? Any questions
Well,
from there?
did you just say, and I think you said that there's stuff in your house because your husband and your kids eat certain stuff, so it's in your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to do something about that. It calls out to you.
And so what she's saying now, that's absolutely true.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you that after we do have some clean time, it makes it a little bit easier. You guys, I'm in a house with a whole bunch of alcohol. I'm an everything addict. There's a whole bunch of alcohol. And I'm in a place right now where I don't have to think about touching a drop. So in the beginning, could I hang out in places that there was alcohol? Absolutely not. I couldn't. And I knew that I couldn't. So I would go and I would leave. I would say hi and I would leave. If it was something important for me to show up, I would say hi and I would leave. Otherwise, I wouldn't show up. And that's okay. That's all right. That's like you know, being sick in your lungs and going somewhere where people are smoking, right? You just don't do it because it's not good for you. And so, but you do go to other people's houses and it is there. I know that there's a lot of crap where you work. Right? And it is there. And so for her to live in her environment right now, and I do agree with you, so you want to do that as best as you can. But still, when you do need to be somewhere in that environment where this stuff is there, you check your motives before you're doing what you're doing. Okay, see why it is that you're doing what you're doing. Reach out, man. Reach out. If you were telling on yourself before you picked up.
Like I was in the beginning.
Right, like you were in the beginning. You weren't picking up. Right?
Yep.
Right. And why don't we tell on ourselves? Somebody give me the answer as to why we don't tell on ourselves.
Because we're an active addiction.
Thank you, because we're an active addiction. And what happens if we tell on ourselves?
Then we can be an active addiction.
Yeah, it's out there.
What do you mean tell on yourself?
If I call and I say, Johnny, you know what? Like, I'm just going to let you know that there are 3 bags of potato chips in the house, and I have absolutely no idea of why I'm going to eat all 3 of them, but right now I feel like eating all 3 of them. And if you and I can have a conversation about it, first of all, sometimes just stepping back for 30 seconds gives our brain a chance to reset. Sometimes. And sometimes, you know, with us just having that conversation where you were saying, well, this happened, and then this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and I can say, okay, what are the feelings attached to that? Because the this happened don't matter. It's how am I feeling, right? And then what am I trying to change by eating that food? So if we're connected in community, you guys, this is why I wait for recovery community. If you're connected to your community and you have somebody to reach out to, there's a really good chance, first of all, you guys, people in the community are speaking your language. They've been there. They know what it feels like. And sometimes we need somebody to help us down from that ledge. Right? And just sometimes just saying we're going to jump allows us to look at ourselves and say we're going to jump. And why am I doing what I'm doing? And is it going to be worth it when I play it out to the end? Is it going to be worth it? Is it something, do I want to give up my clean time? Do I want to give up my self-respect? Do I want to give up, you know, for the last so-and-so whatever amount of time, I got to wake up in the morning not feeling ashamed and embarrassed and not hiding and not lying because of the stuff that I'm doing. Because I don't got nothing to lie about. You guys, it's amazing to wake up in the morning and not have nothing to hide and not have nothing to lie about. That's what recovery is. Happy, joyous, and free. That's what recovery is. It's serenity. And so if you binged, not on, you know, you binged on whatever your food is.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. If you're having any feelings about it after, it's not making you happy, joyous, and free.
No.
And if you're not talking about it before because you know you're going to do it, you're lying. You're lying to you. And you guys, omissions are lies when we're omitting something because we know or we feel that we're doing something wrong or that the other person's going to talk us out of it, right? And the reason why we don't tell on ourselves is because we're in active addiction and we don't want anybody to talk us out of it. right? We had talked about that in the beginning with you saying, once I decide I'm going to use,
No one's
there's
gonna
no
help
one that can stop me.
Only I can help
Yay
you.
for your addiction.
Yeah.
Yay for you sticking tall, sticking big with that addiction. Like, I'm an addict and I'm an addict, and until you get to the point where you say, you know what? Next time that happens, I'm going to reach out and see if somebody can help me because I want to change. At the end of everybody.
So we can call you at 3 a.m.
Yeah, you can text me at 3
I don't.
a.m.
I
Yes,
sleep
you
at
can.
3 a.m.
You absolutely can.
I do sleep at night.
Do you have anything to share back there without me saying your name? Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, actually I do.
All right.
So Friday night I went out to dinner with my group of friends.
Uh-huh.
We went to an Italian restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and they come around and ask everybody what they want to drink,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's ordering wine and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I ordered water,
Mm-hmm.
and my friend next to me is like, "What? Why are you ordering
Mm-hmm.
water?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Because that's just what I want tonight."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Ugh, "You're not gonna be fun tonight." So then.
Uh-huh.
We order the food, and there's food all over the table.
Mhm.
Like, and I ordered grilled chicken and vegetables, and I was fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the alcohol part, it's like weighing on my mind since then. And I'm really close with this group of girls, and I can tell them that I'm doing this. I just haven't said anything
I know.
about doing it. And I think I need to tell them because they'll be very supportive of me doing it. But I keep thinking going back to the alcohol, oh, you're not going to be fun tonight, was basically turns into, well, I'm not going to make a fool out of myself
Mm-hmm.
acting however.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so a couple of things are happening there. So first of all, your friend said you're not going to be fun, right? And ego-wise, we're worried about how you see me. I don't give a fuck how you see me. Ooh, excuse me. You know what? If we're going out for a drink, I'm an alcoholic. If we're going out for a drink and you think I ain't going to be fun because I'm not drinking, first of all, I am going to have fun, whether I'm drinking or not.
No,
but
be fun.
if you don't think that I'm going to be fun, then maybe I need to reevaluate. And you said, and I should share that with my friends because they would be supportive. And again, why hasn't she shared it with her friends yet?
So what is supportive if they say you're not going to be fun?
But she didn't give them a chance. So why is it that you haven't come out to your friends yet?
I think 'cause I'm still absorbing all this.
Well, you're
Because
still
you're
absorbing
afraid
it.
that
Can
you'll
somebody
drink.
else got something to say here?
Tomorrow we'll be drinking?
Yes. Let's listen. Okay, listen. Of course you don't. You're an addict. Excuse me. So I just said, why is it that you haven't told your friends yet? And one of my sponsees is gonna say,
Because
why?
when you put it out there, then
It's a commitment.
people, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
You're
If I
locked
put it
in.
out there, other people are gonna hold me accountable.
Right. So my one friend is she started taking medication and she's not drinking either.
Mhm.
Nobody said anything to her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because she told everybody, I this and this happened, and I'm taking this medication.
Mm-hmm.
Not a word.
Mm-hmm.
And
So they're supportive of her because she's out about her not
right.
drinking.
So she works with me. So she
Mhm.
says to me yesterday, she's like, "Why don't you go with me Monday to Cycle Bar?" And I'm like, "I'm riding a bike." I don't do that."
Okay.
And she's like, "No, you should just come. It's free." And da 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 da. And I'm
Mhm.
like, "Okay." So she signed me up, and I'm gonna go do this stupid cycling thing.
Okay.
You'd be surprised.
All right. Yeah. Maybe you're gonna have fun.
And maybe I will. Absolutely.
Yeah. But the thing is, so your friend already said to the
It really
rest of
doesn't
your
fit.
friends,
Six
I'm not
months.
drinking because da 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 da
And
da.
everybody's like,
Which,
"What
by
you
the
doing?"
way-
It's like, "Oh, you recognize
Yes,
By the way,
exactly.
Stress.
by the way, everybody's different. And so for me, the more people that know that I'm in recovery, the more, for me, and this is just me, listen, most people who are professionals, I'm a professional, most people who are professionals don't like it out there that they're in recovery. I'm not really sure why, because I think all the cool kids are in recovery. I think that recovery is amazing. Not because I don't drink or I don't binge or I don't eat Percocet, because I've learned how to live differently. And because my recovery has made me a better person. It's made me a happier person. It's made me more content. It's made me easier to get along with. It's made me nicer. So those are the reasons why I'm really out about my recovery. I don't say that I'm an addict. I say that I'm in recovery because I'm not in active addiction, right? So when we're in active addiction, we have to say that we're an addict. There's a whole lot of negative connotation about that. I'm a binger, well, just stop. I'm an addict, well, stop, drinking or whatever. But if you say to your friends, hey, you guys, you know what? I'm working this amazing program, and I've chosen not to drink alcohol, and life is still going to be a blast for me. If you feel you have to explain yourself.
I don't. I won't.
So then don't.
No,
then don't.
They're not that kind of group.
Okay.
I just need to do it.
Okay, and you guys?
You're more funny without it than with.
There's also the aspect of, every time someone says something stupid, it doesn't require over dissection. She said something stupid. Maybe she is stupid. And, it just, sometimes it's just, you gotta let it go. And sometimes it's hard to do that. But, what she said was stupid. And that's kind of really the long and short.
It's on her, it's not on you.
Yeah.
It shouldn't affect you as much as it did.
Right, and so again, we're going to talk about, we do talk about, you guys, also that no is a full sentence. No thanks. Why? Don't feel like it.
You shouldn't have to explain yourself.
To anyone. Not for doing something. You should have to explain yourself for getting effed up drunk and falling down the steps. That requires an explanation. Not drinking don't require an explanation.
If I would have had my kids with me and said no, it would have been nothing would have been said because they would they
But my only challenge with you,
because I was by myself, is because it was like it wasn't gonna be fun, and I did have fun. We went to the movies. We had a great time, and then
you had fun without alcohol.
It was never.
she had fun without alcohol and without binging. Has that happened? The thing is too, though, is that, and I want everybody to back me with this a little bit. You said that you chose not to tell them, but that if you do tell them, they'll be supportive. Mm-hmm. And so if you choose not to tell them, it's because you don't want it out there.
Right.
Because, just in case you decide, because you're on the fence about whether you're going to drink or not, or whether you're going to binge or not. Right. And so when you make that decision to be on the other side of the fence, and you're already doing it, man. You're already coming here, showing up, right, dressing up to do whatever it is. And you're talking for the first time today, so thanks so much for sharing today. It's a tremendous step. Tremendous. Other people are shaking their heads because we did it already. Sucks. Sucks to be you right now. It sucks to walk into this room for the first time, you guys, and be scared and feel like you're alone, even though you ain't, because there are zillions of us out there. But, until you learn that this is going to be one of the best decisions you've ever made, you are going to be happy. Mm-hmm. You're going to be happy. And you're not going to have to wake up ashamed of yourself. You're going to be happy. And you're going to have happier times.
Yeah, I kept thinking, afterwards, Sunday morning, or the next morning, Saturday morning, I was thrilled. I wasn't hungover.
Mm-hmm.
I felt good. So, I keep reading the things everybody writes about what they're grateful for and all that. And I told my husband about it. He's like, did you write anything? I'm like, no.
Why is that, by the way? Why aren't you doing a gratitude list?
I don't know.
Right. So, how far? No, we're talking about 10 seconds. And I'm not nice here. You can ask.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not nice. So, we're talking about 10 seconds that has to do with your recovery. So, WTF,
what if there's
man.
nothing new?
Doesn't
There's
matter,
nothing
right?
new. You don't have three
Can I just
things?
repeat?
No.
I repeat the same shit all the time.
You repeat it?
Okay, but you know what? You guys, little things, man. I made a green light today when I was turning out of Publix. I was grateful that I made that green light. I'm grateful that I thought YouTube was going to be in black and white, but it's in color. Right? I'm grateful that they didn't put, that there's not too much ice in my coffee this morning. I'm grateful for those things.
Well,
It's about us looking at the little Now, I'm grateful for my family and that I have a roof over my head. Yes, so aren't we all. Those are the big things. So aren't we all. But what are the little things that you're grateful for? Did your kids say something amazing one day? Did your lawn look green? Did it not rain at 2 o'clock, or it did rain at 2 o'clock, and you were grateful for that?
I'm grateful for almost the same things every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of boring, but I am grateful for the same things.
Okay, I can guarantee you. Do you ever you drive a car?
Yeah.
You're grateful you can afford to?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a job? You have income?
Yeah.
You grateful for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're grateful that you're learning how to make better choices?
Yes.
You wear glasses?
It's the same things. It's the same things.
You wear glasses? Yeah?
Yeah.
You grateful that you could see?
Yes.
Yeah, you're grateful that you could afford the glasses? Are you grateful that there are optometrists out there that can help you so you can see?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm always grateful when I get my nails done, you guys, 'cause I have this little flower on my pinky, and it makes me super happy. I'm always grateful on Sunday that I play Scrabble. You know, I'm always grateful. I'm grateful right now because you're smiling. And that makes me grateful. So you don't have to look at the tremendous things. I'm grateful the air conditioning's on this morning, so it's not warm, right? I'm grateful that I found a pair of ugly shoes to wear this morning because they're comfortable. Right? There are a zillion things that we could look at in the day. I'm grateful that my phone cord actually fit in my car, and it actually fit in my car, but it actually charged my phone. So there are a billion little things that we can be grateful for, right? That we're here, that we're alive, that people that we know are healthy, that we've experienced something new, that we remembered that we're grateful. Sometimes we could be grateful that we feel grateful today. So don't use that excuse, because that's
It's not an excuse. I do make my list, and I actually do it beyond it, because I do, you know, I do it every morning,
Yes,
regardless
you do.
of the list. You know, I do it because it's
so I'm going to challenge you.
It's my ritual.
I'm going to challenge you.
No, but every morning I'm grateful for the same things, and
Listen,
it's fine.
I'm going to challenge you for the next 7 days.
Yes.
Every single time you do your gratitude list, to write 3 things that you haven't written before.
That's
And I
my
want you to
challenge.
get- okay.
That
I'm
has
going
been
to
my
challenge you to do it. I
yeah.
guarantee you can do it.
Yes.
I guarantee you're an overachiever, and I guarantee that you're going to figure out how to do it. And you, do your gratitude list. It's 10 seconds worth of taking a step. You're showing up here.
It's 3 things you're grateful for.
Yeah, 3 things you're grateful for and a strength for the day. Yeah, your strength
On the-
for today could be that you showed up.
On the WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Because I read everyone else's. I gotta tell you, I read
No.
everyone else's, and I definitely enjoy
It's
it.
okay, say again.
It definitely is inspiring.
We're not connected?
I think it's not working.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anybody else have anything that they want to share?
You know what makes it easier if you do 3 things that you're grateful for and someone you like to fucking strangle.
And you can be grateful that you didn't strangle that person.
Are you
today.
doing it?
So that's okay too. So are we having technical difficulties
I
on
do.
Facebook today?
Because when you're doing it then with someone else's.
No one can hear on Facebook?
And
What if you want to
Okay.
strangle
Please,
people?
yeah. You want to strangle?
Oh,
Let's just
oh,
strangle.
okay. All right, yeah, so we're having a problem with the internet, so next week we'll just have the tether from my phone.
and not strangle them
Okay.
today.
All right, so we'll go ahead and put the
Good.
YouTube on Facebook, and that'll be
Well, you
okay.
have kids.
That'll be all right.
My kids are grown.
Okay, guys, we have a couple of minutes left. So we talked about fear being one of your triggers. You know that when you're talking about what my friends think of me, that's fear. So we talk about the definition of fear being something that I have that I'm afraid of losing, or something that I want that I'm afraid of getting. And so right now, the thing that you're afraid of losing is friendship.
This is going to be so easy for me because one of my very good friends, she just found out she has diabetes, okay, and she's a huge drinker, huge.
Mhm.
And so as soon as I tell her, it's like it's going to stop, and we're going to be able to do other things because we're both going to be doing it together.
Right. Are you grateful that you just had that thought?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of me telling the group,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
not really that big a deal.
It's no big deal.
It's not.
You guys, we're worried about telling people that we're going to take care of ourselves in a healthy manner.
Yeah.
Right? So let's stop thinking about the addiction and let's start thinking about the recovery. And let's start thinking about how it feels to be in recovery instead of how horrible it feels to tell people that we're an addict. The fact of the matter is that we're addicts. You know, that's the fact of the matter, you know, is that we're addicts. And so our recovery is going to be what gets to define us. I told you guys we're going to be holding classes soon, very soon. Classes are going to be open to you guys first in this room, actually, and we'll talk about that after. But we'll be eventually in the White Whip for Recovery community teaching classes. It's only 9:45, I know. Angela's telling me it's only 9:45. And so that's going to help you stay not only more connected to community, but connected to yourself, and doing the work that you need to do each day so that you can be a person who's working toward your recovery and not just talking about it, but actually doing some of the work. And so when we talk about the gratitude list, that's just the very beginning of what it is that you'll do. Okay? Okay, and so we talked about your fear of losing your friends, which you decided in your head doesn't really need to be a fear, right? Because you're really not going to lose your friends. And if you lose friends because you don't drink, shouldn't have been hanging out with those people anyway. Man, people are supposed to love you for how you show up, for doing the next right thing, for being a good, caring, understanding, kind person that's of service to the universe, right? That's all, right? People that love you because of that are the people that love you, right? Otherwise, if you need to fall down the steps for me to love you, it's because I feel so bad about myself that if somebody pays attention to you instead of me, oof, the heat is off me. And that's not loving you, that's using you. Okay? So we need to have pretty good boundaries about that. You have anything that you want to share?
I came last Sunday.
Yes, you did.
I started on the no white, I think Monday. My mother broke her hip. It was downhill.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's been a rough week. But I've also come to the realization, which has been really tough for me. I've had my mom with us for 9 years, and I'm not bringing her home this time.
Okay.
She needs to go, and I've struggled with that. And so when I struggle with having to make that decision, because she makes me feel extremely guilty, she wants to come back, but it's not a safe environment in our home, and it's affecting our family.
Okay.
You know, so then I'll say, okay, I'm just going to have one Coke. Or I'm going to have one candy bar.
Okay.
And I had a horrible week with that until yesterday or Thursday.
Okay. And so you used your feelings for the week to allow to feed into your addiction and used.
Yeah.
Basically.
So also she has anxiety.
Anxiety, which is fear.
It's the same thing, only they were caused by different
Exactly.
reasons.
And so that's why we say that it's never actually the event, you guys. It's the feelings that we have attached to the event. And so, yeah, you're scared. It's your mom and she's sick and you feel guilty and you want to be a good daughter and you want to do your best and you have to weigh out all of this stuff that's going on. And that's life, you guys, sorry. But that's life and how it shows up. How we treat ourselves, that's different, right? And so we need to learn to treat ourselves kindly and say, I'm going through all of this and I'm going to go through it clear-headed, taking care of myself. Because what happens in the end is then you're dealing with the feelings that you were dealing with, and then we get to deal with the shame and the guilt because of what we did.
Yeah, and you don't feel good.
Yeah.
You know, I feel horrible. Right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you feel horrible. So stop it. So reach out, right? You have people that you can reach out to, right? Reach out and say, you know what, right now, I really feel like doing blah, 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 blah. And put it out there so somebody can say, don't do it, and what's going on?
You gotta say it just like
You have to say that, blah, 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 like that, or it doesn't work.
I can relate to what she's saying. It's really hard when you are going through a difficult time. Because when you think about eating a candy bar, even like fried chicken, it is euphoric. It's orgasmic, and you put it in your mouth, and you're kind of like.
That's right, man.
It is relief. I am so stressed, and that's my next.
Like
next
everyone
question,
goes through a hard time. What do people that are not addicts
What
do
is going to
when
give me the relief?
So you're so awesome. So thank you for talking truthfully about your addiction.
Right. Food
And
is
so
bigger
what
in
you
our
said,
eyes than it is in other
So what you
people's
said
eyes.
is, how do we go through anxiety? How do we have those times when we're feeling anxious without looking for something to pick up?
Yes.
How we do that, you guys, so let's get back. We're gonna focus back on me because I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic. And the reason why we're gonna focus, beside all the other shit I did, but the reason why we're gonna focus on the drug addiction and alcoholism is because all of you can look at me and say, ooh, I never did that. And so your fried chicken that makes you feel euphoric is my 6 Percocet that made me feel euphoric. Okay? So why is it okay for you to pick up the chicken that makes you feel euphoric so you can change your brain chemistry, and it ain't okay for me to do 6 Percocet? If I called you up And I said, you know what, right now I'm anxious and I'm stressed and I'm just gonna let you know that I'm gonna drink 6 Percocet and drink a half a bottle. I'm gonna eat 6 Percocet and drink a half a bottle of tequila. Is that okay? Why? Why isn't it okay?
It's bad for your body.
It's bad for me. Yeah, I'm an addict, and so the part that I'm an addict and I'm using is bad for me, right? But I'm gonna tell you, as bad as it is for me, spiritually, it's devastating for me.
Right, because it's going to break your...
It's gonna break me, period.
Yeah, you're not clean anymore.
And so you guys yourselves, don't look at your addiction. You think I'm a worse addict than you are. Because I could choose to binge or do Percocet or do alcohol, right? Or to starve myself. I could choose any of those things to do. If I was starving myself, you guys really wouldn't think it was that bad. You'd probably look at me and say, oh, he's getting nice and skinny. If I was binging, you guys wouldn't know unless I told you. If I was stoned, you'd know it. And so it's only bad if I'm stoned. Listen to what we're saying. And so when I do food logs with my patients, what I do is every time they're eating something that they're eating to change their brain chemistry, we call it a shot of tequila. So I go through their food log and I'm like, okay, today you had 16 shots of tequila. And they're like, no, I didn't. I'm like, okay, you had 16 shots of heroin. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. You did. Same. It doesn't matter what we're using to change our brain chemistry. It matters that we don't know how to F and deal with life. Right? There are people that deal with life that don't use. And so the recovery part of it is learning how to deal with life. Learning the things that we're in control of and we're not in control of. Learning how to let things go. Learning how not to go through the anxiety. To say, okay, I'm anxious right now. This is a feeling. It's not a fact.
So not to try to calm yourself down at all. Just let it be.
No, you can calm yourself down here. I'm having a feeling. It's only a feeling. It's not a fact. It's only a feeling. I'm having a feeling. That's it. The feeling's going to pass.
I love this shot of tequila thing.
See, but what I found I did this week was she was in the hospital, okay? I was there around the clock. Okay, so my excuse for doing what I did was because I ate in the cafeteria.
I don't care.
I
don't care. I've been in those cafeterias. They all have a huge salad bar.
You know,
right. That was your excuse. It was your excuse to use.
So should we eat only when we actually physically feel the need to eat?
No.
Like we're hungry?
Well, yes and no. So if we have our food planned out for tomorrow, we don't have to think about what we're going to eat. We don't have to play in that playground, right? So you already know what we're going to eat. I'm going to go to the hospital tomorrow and I'm going to have a salad. And I'm going to bring my water, because I love Smart Water. And I'm going to bring my water, and then, I'm going to have a chicken breast. And I already know what I'm going to eat, so I don't have to make any choices if I'm in the middle of some type of anxiety. Just like I don't carry a bottle of tequila around just in case, you guys. Just in case I'm anxious, I better carry a bottle of tequila around with me. Or, there's a liquor store in every corner. So it's out there.
I feel like, and I don't know the statistics on this, but I feel like most people have some sort of an addiction or coping mechanism that is terrible for. Because if you think about, normally, like if your day is going bad, it's socially acceptable for somebody to say, oh, let's like go get some ice cream, or let's do all these activities that are not good for you, and it's supposed to change that brain chemistry.
Right.
And you don't know how else to deal with it.
Right. And so being in recovery, and you're going to learn. I'm sure you'll be here for our classes, and you're going to learn how to change that behavior.
How change what behavior?
I'm feeling anxious, so I'm going to eat. Oh, I'm feeling sad, so I'm going to have some fried chicken.
You know what hit me is I drank Coca-Cola, the brand Coke, for years, and it's really bad for you. I understand that. But what hit me was when one of my kids, my son, said to his children, don't drink the last Coke. Nina will, that they call me Nina. Nina will have a fit. And that was so true, because years before, I went off on him for drinking the last Coke in the house. And that's sad. Something so stupid as a Coca-Cola
here's the thing, it's not stupid, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you stupid or worse than or better than, it's just where you were at that time, but don't have to be where you are right now.
Right.
Right, we have time? You guys, we're gonna wrap up. I
So
can't
that is
thank
that
you guys.
they know that.
I can't thank you guys enough for being here.
I know.
All of you out there, for a couple of people that got to watch the meeting, sorry for those who didn't. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up, and you'll read the promises. And Angela's gonna read, we read the promises from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous because it's my favorite, and because it's true. And because when we're in recovery, these are the promises that do come true.
If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experiences can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us.
We will suddenly realize that the universe does for us what we can't do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? I don't think so. They're being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but they do always materialize if we work for them. I'm Felice, and I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery, and I'm blessed and grateful that you guys were here for our Why Wait for Recovery community meeting. Peace out. Thank you, guys.
Sorry.
Are you sure you want to stop?